Hi guys, welcome to our channel, Story Time by AI. In this video we will narrate the story called Plane Hijacking. The plane, owned by American Airlines, was hijacked in Central Africa. See below for full information on this flight. On May 25, 2013, the Quatro de Fevereiro airport in Luanda, the capital of the Central African country of Angola, was bustling with activity. There were also planes parked at the airport for some non-performing maintenance work. Then one of those planes, a Boeing 727-223 owned by American Airlines, started flying without any warning. At first they thought someone might have started the plane for maintenance work. Plane hijacking. But the plane began to move slowly. The plane was a silver plane that had not even been completely painted, with only blue, white, and red paints in the middle. Within minutes of the plane's start, the plane began to move. When the plane moved, no one understood what was happening. The staff immediately informed the higher authorities about this. The plane moved towards the runway before they could search. Air Control Center. Direct view of the aircraft to the Flight Control Center. They saw a plane coming without their orders. They then put down runway signals to stop the plane. But the plane overtook it and headed for the runway. Try to prevent. Air Traffic Control Center officials immediately contacted the aircraft wirelessly. But there was no response from the plane. Other planes canceled their landing and takeoff permits to prevent the plane from coming into orbit and colliding with other planes. Constantly trying to find out what was going on this plane. Plane flying in the sky. At this point the plane began to run fast on the runway. Shocked by this, the officers continued to inform the plane as it stopped. But without any response the plane started flying in the sky. Missing plane. Construction center officials immediately began tracking the plane. The plane began to fly over the Atlantic Ocean. The plane disappeared from radar 14 minutes after takeoff. Authorities released the news without knowing what to do immediately. The government announced the disappearance of a Boeing 727-232 aircraft with registration number N844AA. Initiation of trial. Then they started an investigation into this. Who operated this aircraft? Whoever was the last to board this plane? How did they get permission to operate the aircraft? Or investigated from multiple angles as to whether this was the work of extremists. Construction works. During the investigation, the plane was parked at the airport for 14 months for maintenance and construction. 99% of the aircraft's work is completed. Beating the paint alone was the biggest task left. Everything else is just normal maintenance tasks. Ben and John. The inquest eventually boarded the plane for maintenance work. Only Ben C. Padilla and John Moughton boarded the plane. They did not disembark from the plane and it was reported that the plane had flown with them. Maintenance work. Ben, an aeronautical engineer from the United States, and John, an aircraft mechanic from Congo, were given some minor assignments on board that day. They boarded the plane to do just that. Suspicion. Of these, only Ben knew how to fly, and since he was an aeronautical engineer, he would have been trained as a pilot. John does not know how to fly a plane. He was a normal mechanic and John was sent to do the work that Ben tells him to do on the plane. Upon hearing this, authorities suspected that Ben may have hijacked the plane. Confusion. But there is also a problem. The hijacked plane needs at least 3 pilots to operate the largest aircraft. But with only 2 people on board, there was confusion over how the plane could safely take off. United States investigation. The US FBI later intervened in the case. They began to investigate. They also did not have any clue. Police then began monitoring Ben's family for 24 hours on suspicion that he might have done this. Ben had not been in contact with her for several months. They also know nothing about Ben. Running unmanned automatically? When I looked at the old records of Ben and John, their records were all clear. They are not behind any criminal activities. Then why did they hijack the plane? Did they hijack the plane? Did anyone else kidnap you? Elsewhere in the plane? Were in? Or was the plane operated remotely without a man? What would Ben and John have become if they had run like that? As the police investigated, search hunting. Did the plane crash in the area where the plane went missing at the same time? Are any parts of the aircraft floating in the sea? As studied, not even a part of the plane was available. Now the suspicion of the United States has returned to the government. It was suspected that the government was plotting something and pretending that the plane had gone missing. Suspicion on the government. For this, the United States secretly spied on many places in African countries. The United States did not even get a speck of dust when it saw that the particular plane was somewhere else. Where did the plane go? As confusion was for everyone. The task of examining every possibility as to what might have happened to this aircraft and keeping it and searching for the aircraft began. 18 years have passed. There is still no answer to anything today. Why not even get a clue? Leave your comment on how this plane went missing. If you like this video, please subscribe our channel. Thank you.